Hello everyone. My name is Elise. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing so good today. We are here to celebrate my Booktube anniversary. Yay! It's been 3 years on Booktube, which I know everyone says this, but that does seem like such a long time to be doing this. It's kind of wild, but I have thoroughly enjoyed my time on Booktube and I'm happy to get to chat with you all about it. So what I always do for these Booktube anniversary videos is the first half is always a chatty portion. I'm just talking about my experience being on Booktube for the past year and how that maybe compares and contrasts to the previous 2 years that I've been doing Booktube. And then the back half of this video is always Booktuber Shoutouts. So these are channels that I personally subscribe to that I would like to recommend to you. At the top, I will put chapter breaks so you can just go to one portion or the other if you want. And for my previous 2 Booktube anniversary videos, I will also in the description box put all of the channels that I've mentioned in those 2 videos. So you have a big list of channels to choose from. I have intentionally chosen to not mention channels again each year that I've done this, just because I want to be providing a wealth of options for people. But please do check out the previous years below if you haven't watched those videos. All of the channels that I've listed below, I still subscribe to. So I still love them and watch them and would highly recommend their content. So all of that will be below, many channels for you to look at. We're gonna start out with my little chatty portion about how Booktube has been this past year for me. My 3rd year on Booktube has been, I think, really a year in 2 halves. The back half of 2024, I was in a bit of a funk with Booktube. I was starting to question whether or not I had kind of played out the fun, creative aspects of Booktube for myself, and if I wanted to keep going with my channel. It was starting to feel a little more like a chore and like I wanted to take breaks more often. And so I started reevaluating, okay, is this just kind of a lull or do I want to stop? And I decided that I would try to make some changes to the channel and see if that reinvigorated me, re-inspired me to get back into like the true joy of making content again, which I was still having some of. It just had significantly decreased than maybe the first couple of years on Booktube. And for me, that was really effective. So I feel like now in 2025, the first half of 2025, I've made, again, for me, some significant changes on the channel that have made me enjoy it much more again. And I feel like are more in line with the like ethos of what I want my channel to have and just the type of content that I personally enjoy watching. So those have come in 2 ways, I think. The first one is I've gotten rid of a lot of the recurring content that I was doing on the previous 2 years. Again, that was super fun at the time when it was really new and I liked having the familiarity of certain videos to film. So for example, I was filming like book haul revisits every month. I was filming monthly wrap-ups. I was trying to do a book haul each month and have like smaller book hauls so I could track them for my revisits, all that type of stuff. And that has really all changed for my channel this year. One, in the sense that I'm just doing book hauls much less often because I'm trying to buy slightly less books. I'm still buying a good amount of books, but trying to match my books in and out if you've seen my goals video. And then I just wasn't feeling the book haul revisits anymore. They were originally there to help me read the books that I had been buying and reading some of the backlisted books that I had bought and hadn't gotten to yet, but they were just starting to feel like a little bit of a dread for me to film and I didn't want to do them anymore. So I stopped doing them. I think the most impactful thing that I've done for myself on the channel is I've gotten rid of monthly wrap-ups. Now you might be wondering, Elise, I still see you do wrap-ups fairly frequently. And I do wrap-ups fairly frequently. I have just transitioned to having them be like general reading wrap-ups, and there's not a set time frame for them anymore. They happen to be about once a month. I would say they tend to be more about like every 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. And that just works much better for my reading and for my content schedule. So that has been a huge relief for me to not feel like I need to finish a video project up by the end of the month because I don't read a ton of books a month. I mean, it's all relative. I'm not going to have a schedule like a full-time content creator who can read 20 plus books in a month. That's just not going to be realistic for me. So my video projects, especially my vlogging projects, take longer than a month for me to film sometimes. And this reading wrap up schedule of just having it be, you know, when I have enough books to do a wrap up for is so much better for me and takes off a lot of pressure. It has allowed me to start creating more types of content that I wanted to create for a while, and types of content that I personally enjoy watching, which is probably why I'm more excited to create it in the first place. So that has mainly looked like more vlogging. I really love watching vlogs. I like making vlogs, and it's also allowed me to do some challenges. So one of my new vlogging series, which is my Now or Never series, has sort of in my mind replaced the book haul revisits for me. So this is still a way for me to read some backlisted titles that maybe I've been avoiding for a long time but still want to make sure I read, but in a more exciting way for me than doing a book haul revisit. I've also gotten to do some other vlogs that, again, normally I wouldn't have been able to finish them in a month. So I would have been very stressed about how do I film my wrap up at this point in time. So I've done my Republic of Consciousness vlog, I did an International Booker vlog, I did my reading experiment vlog, and those have always been also been very fun. The one thing that I have been avoiding so far on my channel that I want to do is I have multiple plans for like essay type videos on a topic, a bookish topic that I'm interested in. And really these are more just like opinion pieces with visual aids, but I have been avoiding them because they're still intimidating for me. I feel intimidated, but I am going to make some attempts in the back half of 2025 to do them. Some I already have done all the research for. I just need to actually film it and then do the editing. So we're gonna try that out and see if that's another fun, new, exciting way for me to make content on the channel. All that to say, I feel re-energized with the channel now in 2025, and it can see me going, you know, another year and who knows after that. But I'm glad that I was able to kind of push through the slumpiness I was feeling with the channel and make some changes that just fit much better for myself. Even though, you know, they're not good for the algorithm. You may have noticed I have never run my channel to be good for the algorithm. So that doesn't really bother me. And if you want me to talk more about that, I'm happy to do that. I'll leave it there for now and say, I'm happy to still be on Booktube. It's still a lovely part of the internet to be. I'm so appreciative of anyone who comments on the video and I get to talk to them about books. And that is really still the highlight of getting to make Booktube content, is that I get to chat with people about it and I get to share some opinions about books and be amongst readers who are reading similar things to me, which is so enjoyable. As I'm sure if you're watching this and you watch Booktube, you already know it's so enjoyable to get to experience this hobby with other people. That's the chatty portion over. Let's go ahead and get into the Booktuber shoutouts. So in the previous 2 years, I have done superlatives, and I did the same superlatives each year. This year is the first time where I'm just gonna get rid of that, and I'm just gonna mention 10 channels that I wanna shout out that I have not shouted out in these previous anniversary videos. Again, check the old ones down below because I subscribe to them, I really enjoy them, and I think there's probably elements that if you're watching my channel, you might like these other channels for a particular reason. So let's get into them. The first one I'm gonna mention is Read with Nicole. Now, Read with Nicole, or Nicole, I should just say, has not posted in a hot minute, and sometimes that happens. I don't need someone to regularly post in order for me to subscribe to them. If you watch my channel because you like translated literature, because you like small press literature, Read with Nicole is another great channel to watch. She reads a lot of that but has slightly different tastes, so she likes some books that I don't like and vice versa. So if you like getting small press translated stuff but want someone who has slightly different taste to me, definitely check her out. I know that she's mentioned in one of her first YouTube videos, she originally made short form content. So I'm assuming that means TikTok, that she was on TikTok or Instagram, of which I have neither. So I don't know exactly what her content looks like on those platforms. But if you are noticing she's not posting a lot on YouTube, maybe check one of those areas to see if she's still consistently posting there. Her channel's great, and again, aligns with mine in that way. Similarly, if you're looking for someone who has a mix of genre fiction and literary fiction, which is also something that I do on my channel. You might want to check out Molly from Back to Reads. She has a very similar split to me in the literary fiction to genre fiction type of ratio. So she might be a really good fit for you if that's the reason that you watch my channel. Both of the two people I just mentioned do a mixture of vlogs and sit down videos. So that's the type of content that you'll end up seeing there. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Tiffany at Towering TBR. Tiffany also does a mix of vlogs and sit down videos, although I think she kind of leans a little bit more on the sit down videos. And Tiffany overlaps with my channel in a couple of ways. One, Tiffany has great audiobook recommendations. She's been doing an audiobook series this year that has been really fun to watch. And I would love more creators to do audiobook specific content. I think it's really fun to hear about people's best, like favorite narrators, their favorite audiobook experiences, all those types of things. So she has great audiobook content there. And then also she likes mysteries. I love a mystery. And so we have some overlap in the mystery fiction that we read. She also reads a decent amount of fantasy and sci-fi and some romance. So if you want some more of those genres, which I don't do a ton of on my channel, I have some, she's going to have some extra great content that might be really enjoyable for you. So that is Tiffany over at Towering TBR. Then we have a channel where in terms of the actual books we read, we don't have much overlap, but I would like to think that we talk about books similarly, and that is Bookbench. I would say he reads mainly literary fiction, lots of queer fiction. So if you're looking for that, he has lots of recommendations for you. And again, I think he talks about books in a similar way to me. I think it's part kind of tell you about the book and tell you about what I felt while reading the book. And for me, because we're often reading different books, he's a good place for me to get recommendations from for literary fiction that I don't particularly have my eye on. So Bookbench is great for that. He also does a mixture of vlogs and sit down videos. I think pretty regularly always does a monthly wrap up, and that's his standby video. And then there are some vlogs trickled in throughout. So that's Bookbench. Next up, we have a channel that I think a lot of people have been enjoying lately, and that is Below the Fray. So Below the Fray is a relatively new channel, although it has grown very, very quickly, and I can see why. This channel basically consists of video essays on a niche bookish topic. I particularly love the ones on bookish interviews or interviewing authors, but they're all really fascinating. They're all really well edited, and the production quality of them is just great. It's just great to watch. It's great fun. They're so unique and very different to a lot of other bookish videos that are on YouTube. So if you haven't already heard about Below the Fray, please go over and watch it. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it if you like a video essay on a bookish topic. Then we have a channel where I always have one of these every year. We don't read similarly at all, this content creator and I. And honestly, like I'm not even going to pick up really the books. I'm watching her channel for her personality. Again, I always mention one of these every year, and that is Katie One More Time. Katie lives in Australia, and lately she has been doing a lot of content around fashion, particularly trying to get out of fast fashion, but also how to style her clothes in a way that feels much more exciting for her. And I love these videos. I don't watch any other fashion related videos, but I found her because she is technically a booktuber. She just happened to start making a lot of clothing videos that I have absolutely loved. She does work at a children's bookstore, and she does still have bookish content as well. But if you're interested in some book fashion crossover, you might like her channel. And she is just a lovely person and personality, so I'd recommend for that reason alone. So that is Katie One More Time. Next up, we have a channel that I found more recently, but is such a good recommendation source for mysteries as well, and that is Jennifer Loves Books. Jennifer, like I said, reads a lot of mystery. She does some of the British crime classics, But the other thing that really intrigued me about Jennifer's channel is she does read a lot from small presses. And I'm always, as you know, on the lookout for other booktube channels that feature small presses. The more, the better. I think particularly lately, I've been seeing some books that she's been reading by Dead Ink Press that look very fascinating. So if you're interested in mystery stuff, small press stuff, but really she reads a wide mix of genres as well. Definitely check out Jennifer Loves Books. Then we have a channel who has been around for a while, definitely came onto my radar in the last year, and that is Brett's Book Stack, or Brett from Brett's Book Stack. I know Brett is pretty prolific in the content that he makes. I think he has a TikTok, an Instagram, a podcast, and his YouTube channel. How does he have time? I have no idea. He does have such a good finger on the pulse of new releases, which is something that I don't have my finger on the pulse as well as he does. So if you're trying to stay up to date with new releases, both literary and commercial, he is a really good place to look to. And I also think because he has the podcast where he interviews authors, he can give really personal, interesting takes on his reviews when he's interviewed that author as well. And I really enjoy that aspect of viewing his wrap-ups. And it's allowed me to take some risks on books that at face value don't seem like they would be for me. But when he's talked about some of the author's intent or the author's research process or something like that, it's given me a better idea of like, oh, that actually might be something that I could read. So I think his perspective is really bolstered by doing all of these author interviews. And he also is just so current that it's helpful that I don't have to be as current because he can do it for me. So that's great. So that's Brett from Brett's Book Stack. And then we have Ivana from Ivana in the City. Ivana lives in Boston and she has a very cheerful personality. She is going to school to become a librarian, so that's also interesting at the moment. She does a mixture of vlogs and sit-down videos. And I would say she also has a similar mix to me in terms of genre fiction and literary fiction. So you're gonna get both from her. And another person who just has a lovely personality to watch. So I really enjoy her channel as well. And then lastly, for recommendations for 2025 is the channel Pages in Perpetuity. This is a channel that I also just recently came across, and she seems to read a decent amount of horror, which is a genre that I do particularly love. I maybe read less of it now than I did a few years ago, but she's always got these interesting literary horror reads that she has going on. I think she's very thoughtful in the way that she does her reviews, and I've really enjoyed all the content that I've watched thus far, even though it's only been a handful of videos, and I'm excited to keep watching her content from here on out. So those are the 10 new channels that I'm offering up this year. Please let me know down below if there's any channels that you would recommend to me, either just because you love them or because you think I would like them based on what you've seen on my channel. And please go give these channels and all the previous ones some love if they sound like something that could be right for you. And here's to hopefully another great year on BookTube. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye.